Hey boys, welcome back to some more Dragons 2022 career mode. Going to be taking on the Eels in round 2 of the season, and as you can see, Benny Hunt is gone for 2 games, which is not ideal, not ideal at all. Honestly, he is still one of the most underrated players in the comp, Ben Hunt. I've said it plenty of times, but you know the obvious one big error, but you know he comes up with the odd error, but he's a very good player. But the Eels are a very strong team on paper. Sometimes you know they're hit or miss. They're definitely hit or miss at their home turf. Doesn't get too much better, but away from home they just sometimes don't turn up. As we have swung Moses Mbai into halfback, and I mean that's. Honestly, Mbai is a fantastic signing for the Dragons. I don't really get why they played him at fullback this, the week that just happened. I mean the Dragons got absolutely belted, and was it the Eels? It was the Eels. I didn't even realize, but yeah, we're taking on the Eels who just belted the Dragons in real life. And Mbai is playing, not fullback. He's not playing fullback. Mbai, he's a good fill-in a lot of positions, but he's definitely not. I mean, I can see him starting in the halves, no problem. Starting at fullback though, I mean, I don't know. Hook, Anthony Griffin, what are you thinking? I mean, Sloan. Oh, that's a good ball. Clint Gutherson almost getting straight up the guts there off a nice little sneaky offload as Junior Paulo tries to crash his way over. A very that's a Reed Marnie Junior Paulo try if I've ever seen one. But we do hold him up nicely, and early on in the game you would like to think you're going to hold up a front rower charging onto the footy. As Micah Sevo, a couple of very near misses in defence there. We show a little bit of fire in the belly there to thwart the Eels' defence. Is Zach Lomax once again proving a handful, getting a nice little offload there to Ravalawa. Can't quite escape the clutches, but still looking dangerous down this left-hand side. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think Sloan has been that bad. I mean, he's been... from reports, as that kick is going to go out on the full, a shocker. But from reports, it's from like defensive, not one-on-one tackle type thing, maybe a little bit, but more so positioning, and it just doesn't make, like, Moses Mbai, you're just sort of throwing him into the into the furnace. And I mean, I thought he was okay, honestly, but he came up with a few errors under the high ball, which is to be expected. He's not a natural fullback. He's definitely played there a bit, but just to be thrown into a fullback up against some of those high balls, not the easiest. And then also positional play. If they wanted better positional play, like, it's just a bit of a strange move to throw a guy who hasn't played fullback in a long time. But I mean, I digress. I don't mind Griffin, honestly, as a coach. I know he's coming under a little bit of fire now with a couple of poor performances, as Blake Laurie now bursting through, cops the high shot to boot. But yeah, he's copping a little bit of criticism, but I don't mind him, and he's shown his hand. He did the same thing at the Broncos, and any club he's been at, he's not afraid to drop players who he thinks are not playing at their best. And it's a tough one, right? It's a tough one, because I guess you got to know the players. Some players, I'm sure, you send a bit of a rocker up and put them back to reserves, and hopefully they do fire up and, try to regain some form. But there are some, I'm sure there's plenty of players that would not respond well to being dropped. There would be no doubt. There are some big egos in sport, in the top grade sport, and being dropped down would probably do the opposite of fire up some players. So they're the coaches. They know their players. So yeah, I think Sloan is definitely the long-term option, and hopefully, I mean, he looked good. He looked good to start the year. I don't know. It's just the one thing that surprised me, him getting dropped. But regardless, Let's bring it back here. Oh, that's a good little kick, but Josh Kerr swoops another high shot. The Eels are not at their absolute best here in this one. A couple of ill-disciplined high shots, and that's all. Like I said, they're at home, they're almost perfect, but away from home, they can just be a little bit, yeah, few errors, few penalties, bit lackluster, and we've been pretty solid. Our attack hasn't been good. You know, without Ben Hunt there, we've lost a bit of spark, but defensively, we've shown up thus far. As Zach Lomax here gets a beautiful ball across to Ravalawa, but a nice tackle there from Clint Gutherson coming across. But yeah, I guess the other thing about Sloan, and maybe another reason, was just, you know, he's not a fullback. You know, he's no Dylan Edwards. He's no any of the top guys. You know, he's not taking a lot of runs, and I mean, it was a problem with the whole, honestly, the inclusion of Finai. I think that's how they pronounce it. Finai. He looked really good, honestly. In a well-being team, I liked him a lot. As that man, Tyrell Sloan, is going to slice through, and he does move very well, Tyrell Sloan, and he is going to win the race for the corner and gets the first try of the game in the 60th minute. So finally getting a little bit of breathing room in this one. But yeah, the Finai's inclusion, he looked really good. And honestly, Cody Ramsey being dropped, beautiful. Because, I mean, that was a big problem for the Dragons. They had Tyrell Sloan at fullback and then Ramsey on the wing. I mean, they're just not guys that get in and take those tough carries from your own end. And it's a big issue. As Reed Marnie is going to just burrow his way over and score a very, very annoying and soft try right there. That's yeah, that's gonna bring the Eels back in, and they're gonna give us a little shake in the last 10 minutes to snatch victory here. That's, yeah, disappointing way to concede, but yeah, it looked good with Finai on the wing, big body. Honestly, it looked very skillful. I liked what I saw from him. Made some good tackle busts and looked quite good. And yeah, if you have two big wingers like that, I think Sloan works better. But yeah, having Ramsey and Sloan it just wasn't a good combo. So I think Ramsey just needs to go. Yeah, I don't know. Not a huge fan of Ramsey at the best of times. He can finish a try, but yeah, it looks like, yeah, we do get a win. So 2 from 2 to start the year. You know, not unlike the Dragons to start off well, and hopefully we can continue the dominance. But yeah, hopefully you guys are enjoying this series. Make sure to like and comment, and I'll see you in the next one.